Are you ready? Alright guys, here we go. 1, 2. Anybody counting? Hold on. Alright, I got it. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, go.
Mitochondria. I'm the powerhouse of the cell. My job is to convert energy into forms that the cell is able to use. I'm the site for cellular respiration. I generate ATP with the help of oxygen from fats, sugars, and other fuels. I have two membranes that separate me from the cytosol. However, I'm not part of the endomembrane system. My membranes are made out of two phospholipid bilayers with a unique collection of embedded proteins. I'm also semi-autonomous, which means I grow and reproduce in the cell. I'm also found in nearly all eukaryotic cells. Some cells have one large mitochondria, but most just have thousands or even hundreds of us. My insides are divided into two internal compartments. One is called the inner membrane, and second space is called the mitochondrial matrix. My matrix contains my mitochondrial DNA and ribosomes, as well as different enzymes. The inner membrane contains enzymes that produce ATP. These enzymes are built into the membrane's walls. My inner membrane is also folded to increase the productivity of cellular respiration.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed.
The Golgi apparatus. I function as a sort of packaging center where vessels bring products of the ER to me so that I can modify and then send them to other destinations throughout the cell. I'm found extensively in cells specialized for secretion. I'm made up of multiple flattened membranes sacs called cisternae. Some cells can have hundreds of these stacks. There are two sides to the stacks, the cis phase and the trans phase. These act as the receiving and shipping departments of my structure. I usually modify the products while they're traveling between the cis and trans phase. I have a way to sort my products by tagging them with phosphate groups. When the products are ready to be shipped out of me, they reach the trans phase and a vessel will pinch off the products and travel to the other sites throughout the cell.
She was looking kinda dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead.
I'm a ribosome. I'm made up of ribosomal RNA and proteins. I have a cellular component that carries out protein synthesis. There are two different types of ribosomes, free and bound. Free ribosomes are found suspended in the cytosol, which is the aqueous portion of the cytoplasm, while bound ribosomes are found attached to the endoplasmic reticulum, or ER. Bound and free ribosomes are structurally identical. My function is to produce proteins. For example, I produce certain enzymes that aid in the breakdown of sugar and proteins that are to be inserted into membranes. I have two subunits, a small and large. These small and large subunits are bound together to form me.
The years start coming and they don't stop coming. Back to the rules and they hit the ground running.
The plasma membrane. I'm the boundary between a cell and its environment. I regulate what enters and exits a cell. I have a phospholipid bilayer which holds cholesterol molecules that help stabilize my phospholipids and keep them in position. I also have proteins in the cell which help in providing support and structure to the cell.
It makes sense not to live for fun. Your brain gets smart, but your head gets dumb. So much to do, so much to see, so what's wrong with taking the back street?
The vessel. I'm a small membrane-bound sac that stores and transports substances throughout the cell. Most substances within the cell are too large to pass through the membrane alone, like proteins. Instead, they attach onto me and I transport them to where they need to go. I can form naturally within the cell also to aid in cellular secretion.
You'll never know if you don't go. You'll never shine if you don't glow.
The cytoskeleton.
I am the part of the cell which acts as structure in the cell and were the equivalents to bones and muscles in the human body. I provide structural support so the cell can keep its shape, move around, and be protected from outside forces. The effect of outside forces on the cell is called mechanical stress. I have functions as well. I give support to the cell membrane, help evenly split up chromosomes during cell division, and aid in recovery from any outside injury. I am also involved in organelle trafficking, which is the movement of cell components, like the mitochondria, from one part of the cell to another. I am all the liquid in the cell except for the liquid in the different organelles. I consist of three major classes of elements that differ in size and in protein composition. Microtubules are the largest filament in me. They have a diameter of 25 nanometers and are composed of a protein called tubulin. Actin filaments are the smallest type, with a diameter of only about 6 nanometers, and they are made of a protein called actin. Mid-sized filaments have a diameter of 10 nanometers. Unlike the active filaments and microtubules, intermediate filaments are constructed from a number of different subunit proteins.
It's fun to stay at the Hey Now, you're an all-star, get your game on, go play.
The nucleus. I am a highly specialized organelle that serves information processing and administrative center of the cell. I act like the brain of the cell. I help control eating, movement, and reproduction. If something happens in the cell, then I will probably know about it. I am not always in the center of the cell. The position in which I am in is usually at the center of the cell, but doesn't have to be at the center. Many people think I always have to be at the center of the cell, but that is false. I am made up of a double membrane nuclear envelope that keeps the entire organelle encased, isolating its contents from the rest of the cell, and the nucleoskeleton, which supports the cell as a whole. On that outer shell, there are pores, RNA, and proteins that can pass through. Then, on the inside is the chromatin, which is made up of DNA, RNA, and nuclear proteins. Lastly, there's the nucleoli that has DNA and other chemicals that determines the cell's job and its purpose in life.
Hey now, you're a rock star, get the show on, get paid, and all that glitters is gold.
And DNA, or deoxyribonucleic acid. I am a hereditary material in humans and almost all other organisms. Nearly every cell in a person's body has the same DNA. My function is to give genetic instruction to organic beings. I store information to tell cells how to function, passing it on to the next generation of life through cells. I also help in development. Researchers refer to me found in the cell's nucleus as nuclear DNA. A person's complete set of nuclear DNA is called a genome. Besides my location in the nucleus, humans and other complex organisms also have small amounts of me in the cell structures known as the mitochondria. I am made up of molecules called nucleotides. Each nucleotide contains a phosphate group, a sugar group, and a nitrogen base. The four types of nitrogen bases are adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine. The order of these bases determine my instructions or genetic code.
Cytoplasm, and I make up about 70% of the cell. A semi-fluid, clear, jelly-like substance, and I contain all of the cell organelles. A lysosome. I'm a membranous sac of hydrolytic enzymes, and I am found in animal cells. I help the breakdown of ingested substances, cell macromolecules, and damaged organelles for recycling.
Ocean man, take me by the hand, lead me to the land.
The endoplasmic reticulum. A network of membranous tubules and sacs called cisternae. Two distinguished parts, the rough ER and the smooth ER. My smooth part is involved in the synthesis of lipids, metabolism of carbohydrates, Ca2 storage, and the detoxification of drugs and poison. My rough part contains ribosomes and helps the synthesis of secretory proteins from bound ribosomes, adds carbs to glycoproteins, and produces new membranes.
Ocean man, take me by the hand, lead me to the land that you understand. Ocean man, the voyage to the corner of the globe is a real trip. Ocean man, the crust of the tan man and by the sand, soaking up the
Hey, that's pretty good.